Hey everybody, what's up? I just made a video a little bit ago, and somebody asked me a really good question that I guess I probably haven't touched on that maybe too much, or I don't think I've made a video on it. And the question was, I just got my CDL. Who should I go work for? Well, I mean that's a really good question, but to tell you the truth, man, it's not a super big deal who you go to work for, as long as they check a few boxes. If you just got your CDL, I assume you went to a school and you paid tuition, and you probably owe money on that tuition. So the first box you want to check is, are they going to pay back your tuition? Some of them will. I think a lot of them won't. That's a big box to check, but it's not really the most important box. The biggest boxes that I would want to check, if I had just got my CDL and I had zero experience, right? I want to get into somebody. I want to try to get regional, but that's not crazy important. I want to try to do drop and hook, because drop and hook is probably the easiest form of this job that you can do to get you experience, so you're not biting off more than you can chew. The other thing is, and this I think is the biggest box to check, is do they have a minimum guaranteed pay? And the really you want to look at is, do they have a guaranteed salary? Because there's difference between cents per mile and salary. I was looking at a company recently called ShipX, and they have a guaranteed salary. So even on your days off, your week off, whatever, they still give you a guaranteed salary. So you make a guaranteed amount every week. And that's something you really need to look into. When you go to get a job, or when you talk to a recruiter. And don't believe everything these recruiters say, man. They're just like Army recruiters, man. They're full of shit. They just want to get you in the door. But having said all that, don't worry too much about who you go to work for your first gig, because I guarantee you there's a very good chance you're not going to stay there very long anyway, unless you get really lucky and you happen to get into a company that is like really awesome. They check all your boxes and they pay really good money, and they just cover you on every angle. You know what I mean? Like, if you can find that, if you happen to luck your way into that, then that's awesome, dude. I mean, I'm proud of you. But my first company was Pam, and they were not the greatest company, but I got experience, and that is what you need. So don't worry about getting into a company thinking you're going to stay with them for the rest of your life. All you need is that experience, right? So once you have like 6 months, at least bare minimum 6 months, like bare minimum, whatever company you get with, I don't care how shitty they are, stay at least 6 months, because all of these companies that are really desperate for drivers, they're not going to hire you if you're like a 1 month experience, like, and don't be a flake, man. Don't be a flake. Some of you young guys are so flaky, like one thing goes wrong, you just run and hide, you quit. And you're like, dude, you can't go through life like that, man. So no matter how shitty the company is, 6 months should be your end goal, and that's when you should start looking at other companies. But like I said, the first company you go with is not going to be some huge moneymaker. Don't buy anything. Like the first year you do this job, don't buy anything. Save all your money, pay your bills. Don't buy a brand new vehicle. Don't do that. Don't go buy some expensive pickup truck or something like that. That's really stupid. Don't do that. I made that mistake, and I'm still paying for it. And I wish I could go back in time and not buy that, because like right after I got my CDL, right after I did my mentorship, I went and bought not brand new, but I bought an expensive truck, and I wish I hadn't done that, because that's money in my pocket. That's the other thing. If you got so you just asked the question. I got no experience. I just got my CDL. You call up a company. If they hire you with no experience, there's a good chance they're going to want to mentor you. They're going to want to send you out with a mentor. That's just the way life is, man. You got to do it. Some companies, like when I was with Pam, I only had to go out for 2 weeks. But I think that's kind of like, it's one of those things where it really depends on you. if you pick it up really fast and your mentor sees that, he's going to kick you out of his truck really fast, as quick as he can, because he's like, okay, this guy, he's got it. He's a good driver. I don't need to be out here with him, right? And I did that in 2 weeks. My buddy, Biscuit, he was stuck in a truck with this total asshole for like over 3 weeks. And I don't think that was his fault. I think his mentor was just a piece of shit, right? But there's some companies, and I've heard this a lot, that will make you go out for like a month and a half, like a long time. And if you happen to get into one of those companies, just make the best of it, man. That's what I did when I went out with my mentor. I did my best to get along with him. I treated him with nothing but respect. I listened to everything he told me, and I'm like, this is not my truck. I do whatever he tells me. And that's another video I should make about how to get along with your mentor. Because that's very important. Because when you get on somebody's truck, that's not your truck. If they ask you to do something or not to do something, you need to show respect and do it. You know, this is a true story. There was the company that I used to work for, CRST. Before I started working for them, there was an incident with a student and or a new applicant and a mentor. The driver, the student or new applicant, ended up murdering his mentor because that's how bad they weren't getting along. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, damn, I could not imagine being on a truck with a guy and it was that bad. I mean, obviously the dude had a bunch of screws loose, but if you find yourself in a truck with a mentor and you really don't like him and the guy's like a legit asshole, just call the company and say, this ain't working, man. Just pull over to the truck stop. Say, hey, you don't have to tell the mentor anything. Say, hey, this guy's really not for me. Can he drop me off at a hotel or something? And maybe we can pick this back up somewhere. Or maybe he could drop you off at another company yard. You know, that's all you got to do. You know, don't say anything to him. He doesn't need to know. Just put up with his shit until he drops you off. That's what they'll do. They'll call him. It'll be an awkward couple of days, you know, but it is what it is. You live to fight another day, and you know, you don't have to go to jail for kicking somebody's ass, you know. It's like, because that's really dumb, man. Don't be a child. You know, you're out here to make money and build a career, not to get into some Jerry Springer argument with some stranger. It's stupid. Don't do that. But anyway, I guess if I could say one thing about this video, or I want you to take away one thing, is the first company you work for is not that important. As long as they check some boxes, that's all that matters. You're going to have to eat shit for a little while. You probably won't make a crazy amount of money. A lot of these companies, man, I see them, they're only paying people like $600-700 a week. I saw a video just last night. This new driver got a job with Stevens. And I think he said when he was out doing his mentorship, he was only making like $600-something a week. I'm like, wow, dude, that's like nothing. You know, if you are not bringing home $1,300 a week after taxes, get away from that company. Because on my worst checks, I bring home about $1,200-1,300. My average best, you know, up there checks, I should be bringing around $1,700-1,800 a week. You know, so if you're not making that bare minimum, like $1,200-1,300 a week, you're in a shit company, dude. Get the hell away from them. So I hope I answered all your questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe. Common sense ain't common.